Hello, YouTubers. How are you doing? It's Angela. Thanks for joining me. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, November 13th, 2019. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to be brief today. Sorry I didn't get back with you guys yesterday with an update on the missing child in Florida. Um, but I do have an update on that story, and I'm going to read it to you as follows. Mom of missing 5-year-old Taylor Williams arrested, hospitalized after suicide attempt as police work to identify the remains found in Alabama. And as most of you know, the sheriff's department and other agencies had extended a search out of the state of Florida and into Alabama, where remains were found in a wooded area. And as I said, identification is pending. Okay, the mother of a missing 5-year-old girl was arrested Tuesday and charged with felony child neglect and giving false statements to police. Hours after searchers found the remains of a child in remote woods in rural Alabama. Brianna Williams, 27, was absentee booked while hospitalized after an apparent suicide attempt by overdose, police said, and was in serious condition. Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff Mike Williams said in a press conference late Tuesday afternoon that investigators were reasonably sure the remains were those of little Taylor Williams, but that they were conducting a detailed forensic analysis. Teams on the ground there are working on recovering the victim, the sheriff said. Indications are that this may be indications that they are Taylor Williams, the remains. Exact identification of the victim will be made pending some detailed forensic analysis of those remains. Both he and Florida State Attorney Melissa Nelson said the investigation was ongoing. Obviously, at this time, many questions still loom, and our office's work is just beginning, Nelson said at the press conference. The amount of information that we have is frankly staggering, and the legal implications complicated. Wow. This will require a systematic investigation of very piece of information, item of evidence, and lead to date. The sheriff's update confirmed that Williams, a petty officer at the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville, Florida, had been rushed to the hospital as officers were en route to arrest the 27-year-old. Brianna Williams, the mother of Taylor Williams, had been arrested this evening on charges of child neglect and giving false information to investigators during the search for Taylor. Sheriff Williams told reporters the suspect has been absentee booked at a local hospital after being admitted today due to an apparent overdose of some sort. And let's see. Okay. The remains were found in a wooded area of Alabama between the towns of Linden and Demopolis, where Brianna Williams has family. Very interesting. Definitive identification was pending, but police had been honing in on the area since Williams reported her daughter missing last week. The multi-agency investigative team involved in the search of missing Taylor Rose Williams confirmed that search teams uncovered human remains in a wooded area between the cities of Linden and Demopolis, Alabama. The Jacksonville Police Department announced in a statement on Facebook early Tuesday afternoon. Victim identification is pending. Taylor had allegedly vanished from her bedroom overnight a week ago. Her mother reported her missing Wednesday morning, saying that she had seen the girl at around midnight the previous evening when she put her to bed. Morning brought no sign of the girl. Her mother told police the back door was unlocked. But when confronted with inconsistencies in her story, Williams clammed up, then holed up on the Navy base where she works, police said. She then became a person of interest, police announced Monday. So, that is the end of that update pertaining to Brianna Williams, the mother of Taylor Williams. As I stated, she is in the hospital in serious condition. She is an absentee booked arrestee. And so I find it very interesting that they did arrest her because, in a lot of these cases, as we've seen with another case, no one got arrested in a case that we talk about on here all the time. I don't have to mention it. You know what I'm talking about. Some people think that was neglect because we never got a full statement from the mother of that child. So here in this case, I guess they saw, hey, we're getting conflicting stories, versions from this person who is the parent. Now, we're going to arrest this person. And I guess they decided that once they went on their search and found remains. Now, I was pondering this yesterday, like, wow, I wonder how did they find, what made them go, to Alabama? Because you got different directions you can go when you're looking for a person. And the first thing I thought of was the telephone. And someone said, "Oh, her phone pinged off the towers in that area." And then someone mentioned to me, "Oh, she was moving, and there was a lady helping her, saying she never saw a child when she was helping her move." And I thought I had seen a video on YouTube, but I never opened it up to, identify what was going on in the storyline. So I guess basically they got information that she was in that area, came from that area in transition. I don't have any information as of all the details as far as if there was a move from the state of Alabama to Florida. That's just hearsay. I was hearing from other people. But as I stated, I was curious to what made investigators go 7.5 hours up that way. And the crazy part is, I can render my opinion now since the cat's out of the bag. The first thing I thought was when they went, like I said, in that direction, I don't know. First thing I thought was, this is somebody that probably didn't want to be a parent anymore. I read the first article to you guys about the father not seeing the child in 2 years. And then I read another article that said the family hadn't seen her in 2 years. So I didn't know if they were making a reference that the family hadn't seen the mother in 2 years or they hadn't seen the child in 2 years. It didn't, you know what I mean? It didn't specify. So, it leads, as we say, one to interpret it how you want to interpret it. And I didn't assume anything. I just knew somebody hadn't seen somebody in a couple of years. First article says the father hadn't seen the baby in 2 years. Then the next article made it appear that her family hadn't seen her in a couple of years, or the child. And I just assumed it was her family, because it didn't mention that it was the father's family. So, like I said, when they leave it open-ended, you don't know really what they mean. And see, that's how things get distorted. Everyone reads things differently. Everyone hears things differently. But as I stated, I had just an odd feeling that once I read the first article about the father not seeing the child, that's when my mind started swirling. I started thinking, maybe this is a case of somebody getting a promotion, or they're wanting to transfer their job, to another naval base, in the country, or maybe abroad. And maybe she doesn't have anyone to help her with her kid. Or maybe she decided she was tired, you know what I'm saying, of carrying the load of trying to raise this child by herself and being in the military. Because, in the military, you can be stationed anywhere in the country and abroad. And I would say that would be a hard feat for someone to try to travel around the country or abroad, and they don't have family or they don't have a spouse or boyfriend or somebody who can help with the child. They don't have another party helping with their child. Now, naturally, I'm not making any excuses for this woman killing her child if it is that she killed her child. I just think that's just what I thought of was, the little bit of information I got, I thought, well, it's something about rearing the child. That's just what came to my mind. She was having a hard time with that child. And then once I realized, okay, she's in the military and she's on a base, maybe she was up for a promotion or a transfer, or she wanted a transfer. And then she had to think about, well, who's going to, tend to my child? Which we see someone is claiming that she moved and they didn't even see the child in tow. So that's creepy. That's real creepy, because what I've always said about situations like that, when people have been seen with their children, you have seen them with their children, and then one day you don't see them, there's going to always be somebody that's going to question, where is the child? Where is the child? Now, naturally, your child could have went out of town to stay with family, friends, whatever. You don't owe anyone an explanation. But there's always going to be somebody wanting to know. There's always going to be somebody lurking in the background, curious to why they don't see your children anymore. And that's what I thought was interesting. Before I even got information that she was even had moved to Florida, I thought, what if she got rid of the child and was wanting to move somewhere else, does she not have any friends or family that will inquire about the child? Because, at some point in life, you have friends, you have family, you date, you have neighbors. If one day you have a kid and then the next time they don't see you with your child, somebody's going to ask you, well, where's your baby? Where's your daughter? Where's your son? I haven't seen him. I don't see him around. What are you going to say? You'd already have to have the lie cooked up and ready to say, oh, they went, they're in Ohio with the dad or the aunt, or you feel what I mean? You got to have that lie ready. So that's my update. Mother is in hospital. Miss Brianna Williams is in the hospital. Remains are currently being identified by the authorities, and we will see if these are the remains of Miss Taylor Williams. But I will say this will be a tragedy. This will be another tragedy of a child gone missing and found deceased and discarded like trash. Because no matter what her circumstances were, this lady, you didn't have to do that. If you did that, if you killed your baby. And what made me think that she is guilty is right after I finished the other video yesterday, that's when you all started chiming in on the comments that she was in the hospital. And I thought, man, I just uploaded the video. I said, my goodness, she must have killed herself right after I uploaded the video, which was so weird and creepy, very creepy. You took the coward's way. Lady, you killed yourself. And that's what made me think that she was guilty. Because, like I said, in 1 minute, I got the update that remains were found. I went in to make the video, and probably as I'm making it, reading it, then uploading it, she probably already attempted suicide. And that's what's so weird. Why would you attempt to kill yourself when they haven't even identified the body? Who does that? Oh, I know. Somebody guilty does that. Just an assumption, but probably some truth. Till the next video, I am Angela Logan. This is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Happy Hump Day. Bye, guys.